All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 17th recurring Platform and Treasury Council meeting. We'll continue the journey to transparent governance and community engagement for Telcoin ecosystem. Today's agenda is going to encompass several vital updates on the governance initiatives, the recent platform developments, an update from Parker, and a preview of upcoming and in-progress TIP and TelIP proposals that are going to shape our future. So these regular meetings serve as the heartbeat of the governance system. They fulfill many essential functions, such as creating a transparent window into council's operations for the community, providing structured forums for discussing and refining proposals, offering proposers a platform to present their ideas directly to the council members. They enable community members to witness, discuss, help shape these proposals. They deliver consistent platform updates to keep everyone informed. They maintain open lines of communication between the council members, and they facilitate direct community engagement through our interactive Q&A sessions. We do have a live stream going on X, and we will be able to have those questions passed into the meeting, so feel free to ask away. I know that we have a lot to discuss today. So at the 30,000 foot level, our governance foundation represents the layer for Telcoin platform and the association. Platform and Treasury councils are the global governance layer, and they work together with all the other local councils to oversee platform-wide systems. They shape association social policies and steward the Tel Treasury with care and foresight. The Telcoin platform's governance system is self-organized and determined by 4 minor groups and their elected councils within the associations to focus on 2 primary duties. Number 1, provisioning. Okay, that's planning, financing platform infrastructure, construction, maintenance, providing information, and delivering other goods that are essential to the platform's health and growth. And the second responsibility is TEL allocation, and that's regulating the TEL sustainably within the platform for the 4 minor groups to harvest based on their production according to the rules that was established by the respective councils. So our councils, as elected representatives, we hold a lot of responsibilities. Quick reminder is to thoughtfully review and vote on the snapshot proposals, which we've been doing a great job of. I'm really proud of that. Maintaining consistent attendance at these council meetings has also been great. Providing transparent, regular updates to the community, vigilantly monitoring platform systems, and upholding and enforcing our operational framework. Moving on, I wanted to give a quick recap from the last meeting. We discussed media and marketing campaigns at great lengths. We had healthy discussion, and we went to Snapshot to vote on that. It has passed the Platform Council unanimously in favor of Storm. As a follow-through for consistency, the Treasury Council members had a chance to vote on their preferred candidate. The Snapshot shows, as of this meeting, that all 4 Treasury Council members are in favor of Storm as well. That vote will end in about 36 hours. Last meeting, we also discussed the TIP for enhancing management of the Tau X Twitter. That was since passed and has been delegated to Derek, our very own BZ, who's also helped set up the streaming for today's event. We also had another TIP that is passed, went to Snapshot and passed for switching these calls to Zoom. We are not ready for this particular week to do that, but this will be the last time that we stream through Discord. From moving forward, we'll be moving these calls to Zoom. So I'm looking forward to that update. Thanks everyone for your patience. Alrighty, moving on right ahead to agenda topic number 3, quick Telcoin network update. So the competition for Telcoin network protocol is in full swing. It's going well. We've generated quite a lot of buzz. There's been so much activity actually that the judge had to sort of implement an additional KYC factor for researchers. So all in all, though, it's been really great. We've had a ton of engagement, and I think a lot of it has to do with the way that the competition was set up, being an open pot, dedicating some of it to findings, and just the protocol team's responsiveness and proactiveness. So all 3 of us created videos to kind of talk through different parts of the code base. We did a live presentation as well, and we've been very active on the Discord and in the Cantina page to answer any questions as they come up. So in tandem with the open competition, we also have a private auditor who goes by the name Drastic Watermelon. He's doing a great job so far, asking a lot of great questions. He's diving in deep and really just getting to the bottom of consensus and how it's all working. So we're really happy so far with the way that the competition is going. We do have about 36 findings. Some of them are duplicates, but we've created a private copy of the code so that the Marcus and Steve and I can keep working on applying those patches while the competition is going without revealing any sort of prizes to any other researchers. So a quick reminder that competition closes on July 15th. And yeah, if there's any other researchers interested in joining the competition, please do. We would love to have you help secure our future for Mainnet. With that, I will pass the torch on to Parker, who's in New York City this week at a Permissionless event. He's going to give us a quick update. I know he's been running around, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing all the great things he does. A huge networking opportunity. Parker, you want to catch us up with how your week's going?
Thank you, Grant. Hi, everybody. I'm Parker. For those who don't know me, I am really excited to report that I'm at this event in New York that's hosted by Blockworks called Permissionless, where there's been a really strong base of crypto companies coming back on shore or the ones that were here that have really built out New York City as a hub. It's the second time I've been here since March, and both of these events have been really splendid, and I highly recommend people going. I had the opportunity in coming up here to schedule meetings with a variety of potential DeFi protocols and partners across the stack of the platform for that are very eager to work with us, both in terms of building on top of Telcoin network, facilitating all sorts of cool things for various wallet services that will be built by the various different actors across application development on the platform, and a ton of just drumming up interest from the people that are on the ground building everything. And I think it's become in vogue now what we set out to do, which in the past this concept of having a consortium chain would be sort of looked upon as something that doesn't have censorship resistance and all that, and so it's not in line with like Bitcoin or whatever. But are both technologically, economically, and across the entire crypto ecosystem, people are starting to realize how important and how big of an opportunity it is to unleash and really align a blockchain network around telecoms. And so all sorts of different folks across layer ones, layer twos, across exchanges and on-chain apps and protocols and tooling are all really excited about us. And it's always so interesting to me how many people really don't know that Telcoin exists. And I want to make it clear that I think there's a real rationale for that. And now we're going basically from this phase of infrastructure development across everything and self organizing the association, which I'm a proud council member within. And so people we're really starting to go from building this thing to now we get to go commercialize it, and this is fun. This is the fun stuff when you have this our network and the mainnet phase, and everything going in a positive direction with what we're doing and how it's viewed. It's really the most excited I've ever been from a proof point perspective about everything that we've been working towards as a community and as individuals and companies for years and years. And so it's just been great to see that validated. It would be probably not given that these are the sort of the preliminary discussions. I'm going around and meeting with a lot of folks. Obviously, like, saying exactly who it wouldn't be okay yet. But I just want to say that I've been really thrilled to be out here in the heart of what's really seemed to be the crypto capital of the world. I thought it was going to be Miami, but I think it's going to be New York. And yeah, so just wanted to report that to everybody. Super excited, feeling as bullish as ever on everything going on with Telcoin and the network and association it's just all wonderful. So that's my follow up from this event, and got 3 more dinners tonight to go to. So I think I'll probably bounce around a little bit and meet some awesome folks, and just we'll keep everybody posted as these really exciting conversations continue to unfold. Thank you.
Update, man. Yeah, that sounds like exactly what should be doing. I know you're fantastic at the commercial side of things, so I'm really glad you get out there and do your thing. So hope you brought your appetite with 3 dinners. Sounds delicious.
Just drop me in like Call of Duty Warzone into these conferences, and I'm ready, man. That's I truly feel like that. I'm feeling real SAS about it, or Delta Force Telcoin version. So yeah,
Spec Ops.
Yep.
All right. Well, I've seen it. I believe it. And moving on. So TelIP, agenda item number 5, TelIP. Last meeting, we had sent a snapshot the media marketing campaign. That is in its final stages of approval. Now, I did see that Ermias and Julio might be available. I don't see them in the audience, though, today, and it is a little bit kind of a last-minute invitation I threw out there. But if you are here, if you would raise your hand, I'd love to invite you to the stage. But so far, Storm Partners has won unanimous support for the Platform Council snapshot. The Treasury Council snapshot also looks to be unanimous at this time. There's a little bit of time left on that. But the Treasury Council has a chance to vote for their preferred candidates in case there was someone who had a dissenting opinion. The current snapshot, though, does appear to be unanimous. And pending the compliant council's silent approval, the TAO will move forward to setting up the services agreement with Storm Partners as early as next week. So I think that, it's a storm brewing. That's a good one. We're really, really excited to be at this stage, and really excited to work with Storm Partners on this next step. So we will have more updates for you next Platform Treasury Council meeting, and hopefully they'll be able to join us then. We'll hit the ground running.
Grant, a couple of people have asked me, do they start work immediately after they sign the agreement?
Yes, absolutely. So there's nothing else holding them back. We just have a services agreement that's more of a legal, putting a legal protection in place between both parties. But the TAO is ready to do that. And then they're ready to start. I think I had seen Ermias mentioned too that he's ready to get started even as early as today. So hopefully, I think in preparation they're getting some stuff kind of preemptively worked on. It's all we have to do.
I talked to Ermias like an hour ago, and he said he was coming.
Okay.
So I started to interrupt. I guess we'll kind of stand by and see. Ermias, are you out there?
I still don't see him, but if he
We're-
does show up,
yeah.
I'd love to have him say hello. So
Yeah, he said he's going to come and do a kickoff and everything. So
great. We'll keep our eyes out.
Yep. I'll let you know if I see him. Shoot him a message real quick.
Awesome. All righty. Well, then that brings us to our next topic on the agenda, our company proposals. Now we have companies 2 through 7 on the forum. They've been debated. We had some comments and general discussion. So I think, Adam, you are here, mic off. If you want to lead us in this conversation, I think we're ready to get this kicked off.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So naturally, 2 weeks ago, everyone saw the proposals were shared to essentially help everyone better understand what the council was currently working on. However, literally within 14 days, it seems that concerns are resurfacing somehow, and about speed of progress and what is actually happening. So just to kind of give a little insight on this, first of all, so there's some key things to keep in mind regarding any exchange listings. So exchanges look, so visibility and awareness. So right now, kind of without any strong marketing efforts currently, we are just bringing on a marketing partner that will then be reeling these out very soon. But without any strong marketing efforts, currently we're not getting the visibility within the crypto sphere. Exchanges do look for tokens. They look for popularity, active community engagement. We've got the community engagement. It's now the council's turn, and Storm there, so a marketing agency, to essentially showcase who Telcoin are, the Telcoin Association, what we do, get the awareness out there, and kind of it will draw more eyes. Naturally, every token on any exchange has to pass rigorous checks to kind of meet several criteria. That is literally, like I said, so visibility, you've got the risk, essentially it's ticking a load of boxes. It's risk assessment. Are we able to provide the liquidity needed? Is there the popularity? What is the token's age? Look at the security, the audits, kind of where is it visible? And for especially for tier ones, how many exchanges is it already on? Because volume is everything. Exchanges are a business. They make money a variety of different ways, from not only the fees, the marketing packages, the integration. I can't get my words out. Apologies. So yes, there's that side. The second part, naturally, many have stressed the importance of landing tier one exchanges. This, when you take into account a variety of the costs, it does equate to millions, essentially. You've got your liquidity, you've got everything you need to put up front. You've got your market maker fees. You have everything from even the token, the liquidity pair that goes with it. You have to cover literally everything. So one other aspect I want the community to think about, naturally, is where does that funding come from? So the Telcoin budget is held in Tel tokens. So if you want a tier one exchange, not only do we have to be on other exchanges initially and have the visibility, but we've also going to have to sell a portion of those tokens, which in the current scenario, if we haven't got the visibility and awareness currently, we're just about to kick the marketing off. We've got the network and the MNO is just about to test. We've got the obviously naturally the banking side isn't Telcoin Association, but there are so many things that line up very nicely and into sync. Where do you want some of those Tel tokens to be sold, which inherently would drop the price a bit? If depending on how much it is, the bigger the exchange, the more it has to. That's essentially not an unavoidable aspect, because we mentioned we're looking at other sources to fund as well. But that is something to keep in mind in the current scenario, because a lot of the Telcoin tokens are based upon, or the amount in budget we have is based on the token value as well. So if we see a 20% drop, that's a hefty chunk that's taken away. If we see it, all this awareness coming in and everything increases naturally, you've got more eyes, we're going to see our budget increase. So I just wanted to put that into perspective as well. So one of the key areas that we are focusing on is naturally a geographical coverage. So key areas like USA and Canada. So these are vital for growth, in my opinion. However, spending all those resources too quickly when we haven't got the marketing or aspects like that set up, in my personal opinion, doesn't make strategic sense. This is hence why I emphasize when the time is right. I'm happy for people to call me out on that, and please do. The point of these council meetings is a discussion. So going back to it, the purpose of the proposals is to give a council a clear view of what is involved, allowing them to essentially discuss and fully understand each detail for the council members to then assess and vote. We share it with the community as part of the Swiss varying aspect of the Telcoin Association, which is all about transparency. So the community get that insight to what's happening behind the scenes, even if it has to be in a highly redacted way. I try to give as much info as I'm allowed to. This essentially, by working this way, it does mean that, okay, the council have seen it all. If they preliminarily agree, then when the time is right, we can finalize those agreements. When I would say when we have the visibility and awareness and the marketing happening, so we do have fresh eyes. It, from a financial point of view, it makes the most sense to get the most bang for your buck. And yeah, essentially to get on a tier 1, it's not as simple as just applying. So many people say this. They're like, oh yeah, you just contact them and they've got a listing aspect and that's it, you're done. I wish it was that simple. I honestly will do. But yeah, I've said from the start, basically first we need listings on several exchanges. And then tier 1 exchanges, they look for evidence of strong and sustained trading volume and overall market stability. Every exchange is a business. They earn on trading fees, marketing initiatives, and active platform use. So the best way you can help as a community is literally, please just continue promoting, get the word out there. We are just about to start pushing it from our side as well, from a council perspective, from the Telcoin Association. With both of those together, we are going to hit the ground running on that side. We can get the most awareness, but we need to ensure that we're all pulling together as well. I understand, I get that you all want info and are hungry for it. And I fully appreciate that. I fully get that. And the process will unveil. The council has clear visibility of the current proposals. Discussions are ongoing with both those and others. And just because it's easier to say it than people to accept it, but I can only stress, just because you cannot see what is happening doesn't mean it isn't happening. I've said that before, and I know it takes a lot for just to trust at all, but you can't say really anything that you do say could jeopardize any point of a process. And all I can say is I am actively talking for my job. I work in crypto and I speak to exchanges. I literally do a variety of aspects for it. And apologies, I'm dragging this on quite a lot. I'm waffling now. But yeah, so generally, please, we've got so much coming. I have been here since day one and like won the ICO and everything when Telcoin first kicked off. And I've seen it grow from what it was to what it is now and what it will be. And I'm generally amazed that there is still so much people concerned about when you can see everything that is happening literally happen right in front of your eyes with the stable coin side, the bank, you've got the network. Even the last few years, we've had the exchange come online as well. And we're not even accounting the remittance platform of it all. There are so many pieces to this and it's all coming together. So please, just a little bit of patience and it truly is appreciated and you will see. Yeah, I think that is everything for me. Please, if you've got any questions, write them in the chat. But yeah, I think if I pass it over to Grant or anyone else.
Yeah.
Grant, you have thoughts here? You have some additional thoughts? I have some. I just want to share with the community.
Great. Yeah, by all means, take the floor.
Yeah.
Thanks,
so we're and Squirtel, awesome job. We've been in talks with a group of exchanges, and I think what everybody needs to understand is that we're just trying to be prudent. We're trying to look at the costs of potential exchanges that and weigh those versus others, and and really just try and be smart about leveraging our resources. And in that light, in terms of leveraging resources, I mentioned this last meeting, and there's a variety of proposals that need financing from the Treasury. And the IP process enables us and empowers us as the platform and Treasury councils to regulate the flow of Tel from the Treasury. And so, I have every intention of submitting a proposal alongside the rest of the councils here with their input in the coming week, and we need to just kind of do some more budgeting, and we're all learning here. We're all trying to do what's best for the community, for Tel, for just everything about what Squirtel's been doing with the exchange. I think people just need to realize he's put a ton of work into this, and he's a professional at it. And I think the other areas that I think maybe I could help out as well is when I've been doing the cap raise, and obviously a million times over with the token and everything, I've created some documents that really describe Telcoin platform and in a compelling way that perhaps we could add to what we're sharing in the exchange packet. And I think maybe I could add some value there, Squirtel. But overall, I just wanted to say, I think everyone on the council wants to get great listings for Tel so that we can get exposure to exchanges, and then we can bridge their ecosystems to ours. And I think another part that's important to note is that in doing that, I maybe I'm wrong, but I have a suspicion that the fact that we're launching the network, and there's going to be a new protocol for this token that's coming live, and the exchange are aware of that. Maybe they think in some cases, maybe they're thinking to themselves, well, we want to wait till the network's live so we can integrate that with the token at the same time. That's literally just a guess of mine. But and anyways, I'm going on too long of a rant here, but just wanted to say, I think we're all on the same page. We all voted for it and want to just empower everyone to get this stuff done for the community in the most, once again, prudent way possible. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody here who doesn't want to be on a tier 1 exchange. The challenge is finding that value. All right, it costs money. There's a budget. There's also the current token price. Our budget's only denominated in Tel, and so it just becomes really complicated very quickly. And when you're talking about spending a lot of money, I think it's for the first time as well. Like this, we don't have the DAO does not have a history of making these decisions to fall back on. Like, we are pioneering this moving forward. So, I get it that we're not listed already, and in a perfect world, it would have been, done day one. But this is where we're at. And so I think that there's been a lot of questions about, getting something up for a vote. Why hasn't the Company 2 proposal been voted on yet, or the Company 3 or 4? So I would just, I guess, from my own personal clarification, I'm kind of confused what we would even be voting for. When I review the company proposal on the forum, I will use Company 2, seems to have the most attention. I'll post it in the chat here. I see as rationale, I see the planning, but I also see as far as the execution, we have a bronze package, a silver package, a gold package, a platinum package. And all these things, they're redacted in the forum. We see them as behind the NDA. But as far as putting it to a vote and stuff, I'm not really sure what we would even be voting for, because these negotiations are still ongoing with the exchanges. I was curious if anybody had thoughts on that, or that's care to speak to that on the council.
So on that, again, I'm not sure how much I can say, but we'd probably be looking for budget-wise, whether it be kind of more lower to mid-tier to get on to certain exchanges. So it definitely wouldn't be going up to the platinum or anything like that, because yes, they would do an amazing job, but I think the difference in monetary value could be used elsewhere to do our own marketing. So aspects like that, I'd probably say close to the bottom package directly. But yeah, this would be a perfect entry point to Storm if they're available as well. If people,
Yeah, and you know, I think that's, you know, it's like as we, you know, I because I see there are a lot of options, right? And then there is the value and the budget consideration and stuff too. I just, you know, as far as like to answer the question, why is there no voting happening? It's like I'm not sure what we would really vote on at this time. You know, these proposals are up so we can get the information going. We have, my understanding is that, you know, this is a way that so we can move forward quickly when the timing is right. So we have this proposal; it can go to snapshot. When we're ready to do that, once we figured out the numbers, we have the package finalized, and we're moving forward. Is there a different understanding? Do you all agree with that, or is there something else I'm missing?
I think you've
So-
articulated it well, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe if I could ask a question, you know,
Please.
Turtle, is that the so just a kind of like a couple things. So, you know, take for instance the one that we're talking about now with these different packages. If we would put up the money for that, right?
Yeah.
Is that guaranteed that we get listed with them, or is it more of a, you know, well, we're going to try, and that, you know, putting that money up gets us in the door, and
that's
would we need to go ahead?
apologies. Carry on. No, go on, please. I thought you'd finish then. Carry on, and then I'll.
And so if it's not guaranteed, would we need to like consider like voting on a first choice, second choice type of thing, so that we could have a waterfall type of things to say like, hey, here's, you know, what it looks like, and here's the outlay.
Okay, so in terms of proposals, that is literally what they're putting out there for us. We negotiate the listing date with them. So as soon, that's literally we're at steps before the getting a contract out with it all and both kind of agreeing certain dates and signing. That is pretty much the next step. Obviously, there's due diligence from that side as well. So because everything goes through a due diligence process. But yeah, it's pretty much if you're at the stage where it's going, this is the amount, this is what you get. It will negotiate on the listing date, providing due diligence and everything passes, and then as soon as money's paid, it is locked in. As soon as the contract's signed.
Okay. And if I could follow up with that, what is generally the timeline that you see with these orgs on, you know, that turnaround time for, you know, if we would go with something to the time that we're listed? I know it sounds like it's a negotiated timeline, but just, you know, generally, what would that timeline look like?
It truly varies based on different exchanges, in all honesty. So it also takes into account, so a lot of exchanges will either have certain tokens they launch on either certain days of the week, or they've got a schedule, a variety of tokens. So that sometimes there's a little bit of a backlog. So you can be waiting anywhere from a few weeks to a month to a few months. It all depends on essentially the deal, what you're bringing to the table, because just like anything, they're going to have not essentially a premium service of it, but the more you do, the more eyes you'll have, or the higher up on a schedule, because they want to lock everything in a sense. So like a priority, but every exchange works on a variety of priority passes, because you've got to think the amount of crypto companies there are out there. There is a sea of companies now. That's just ever growing. And people go to companies go to exchanges constantly, especially if you're looking at the highest of tiers. They are inundated. So it truly varies. Timeline depends on the tier and type of exchange and the time of year and market conditions, because it could be, oh, okay, great, you get on really well and you know them, and they're like, do you know what, we've got a space in 2 weeks, or we've got a space in a month there, providing we can get everything and all the integration sorted. Would that be okay? And you could be like, oh, great. Or they could be like, look, we've got a bit of a backlog. It could be 3 months, and 3 months time on this date. But they give you naturally, they will say they'll give you a variety of dates, or sometimes they'll be like, okay, well, we can fit you in at this date. But it truly varies from exchange to exchange. Everything is a negotiation in that sense.
And just the last thing that I want to kind of gauge it, is there any reason why we can't go through and the proposals that are out there to figure out, kind of like to Grant's point, to say, like, you know, if there's the various packages and stuff, we want this package, right, allocated out. Is there any reason why we can't like do that and then vote to say, like, hey, this is our preferred choice and everything, and start the process of getting things ready to, you know, roll out, so that we can kind of, you know, plan out accordingly.
So
you know,
just for
stuff like that.
Okay, so just for clarity, do you mean essentially like a uniformed package that we'd negotiate across every exchange? They send their proposal, so it's all the same standard stuff, and then we weigh up who can offer what and the different rates? Or I just want to be able to answer it full clarity.
Yeah, kind of like it, you know, I know they're varying to some degree or whatever, but surely we can look through them to say, like, hey, you know, this is sort of the basis of what we're going to go with, even though we know that, you know, the overall cost is going to be varying between the different ones, right? Like, two could be, you know, $100,000 more, whatever, right? But to be able to say, like, okay, this is what we're, you know, if we vote for this one, this is what we're going to go with. If we vote for this one, this is what we're going to go with, right? And then just vote ahead of time and kind of have that locked in. Try to get a, you know, a timeline going of, okay, we're going to, you know, maybe start to move funds and start to get stuff ready to go to make payments and stuff, so it's not like dumped, you know, all at once on everything.
Oh, 100%. So in the aspect of where I was saying, like, tokens naturally for budget need to be sold off, I think this would happen over a period of time anyway, because you don't want price drops. It doesn't help anyone at all. So anything like that would be done over an extended period of time, because no one wants just a complete dump in the market. So no, 100%. In terms of the different exchanges, what I can do is, if I create a Google Sheets or Excel spreadsheet, whatever people prefer, probably Google Sheets, then I can stick it on the Google Drive there, where it's a live document then. I can then fill in the difference and do essentially an exchange summary. So from that, then it's easier to decipher and compare really what each one can offer on a side-by-side basis, and then that can then be taken, because naturally you've got to account for the different regions where they're targeting, the trading volume, liquidities, everything like that. So 100%, and then that should help make everything a lot easier. I'm seeing a load of messages saying people said people love the company 2 proposal, and honestly, I love that one as well, but everything still needs to be right as well. So everything is about, like I said, everything is the timing. and everything needs to be unanimous agreement on that.
One other thought on the exchange proposals from the minor group I represent as validators. One of the things that these exchanges are doing is making a token available. But as we've seen, or as the protocol team is diving deeper into creating an ERC20, using it as a native token in Telcoin, there's a lot of different ways that Tel can exist, right? It is an ERC20 on Ethereum. There is a wrapped kind of bridged version on Polygon. We will have a native version on Telcoin network. As far as your experience, Adam, with the exchanges, if we get this listed as an ERC20 on Ethereum, how difficult is that going to be to have them also support the native version on Telcoin network? Because I could see that being kind of another, creating a volume crisis for us down the road if a lot of users if there's a huge market appetite for Tel, but it's not the one on the network. How flexible are they from there? And like, what have you run into any sort of problems like that? I know it's a little bit of an unusual network launch scenario with as far as like liquidity on the native token versus existing on other chains.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So in terms of that, a perfect example is essentially with the wallet being multi-sig. That caused an issue. So Polygon and multi-sig aspect, an exchange can accept Polygon, but if they stop any sort of sending to contract addresses, then that can have a massive impact, because obviously the multi-sig wallet interacts with a contract address. So then unless they've got a bypass in there or built it in, that can cause issues. So there's a variety of things that could potentially need to be worked out, but it depends on an exchange by exchange basis, because none are set up the exact same. Some support different tokens and multi-asset and just networks, where others are very strict and they're like, nope, we're sticking to this. This is what we know. But at the same time, is that not where market makers come in to keep balance?
Okay, yeah, that's I'm not too familiar with the exact skill set of the market maker, handling that type of situation, but that does sound like something that they would have to deal with. So yeah, and we definitely have resources in the councils. Dwight, I know he is an expert in that, so we could definitely discuss this further with him. But great. Thank you for your thoughts on that.
Appreciate it.
I would like to, I see that we have Storm Partners here now. That's fantastic. Great to see you guys. Before we kind of change topics here, I would like to just invite the council, if there's anyone else in the councils who would like to speak to the current exchange listings. And then, if we could have Storm Partners, since you're here for this conversation, maybe before we jump into marketing stuff, if you have any thoughts to share about the exchanges and listings, we'd love to hear your thoughts as well. So council members, is there any other thoughts? Okay, well, great. Armaias and Julio, great to see you. I will let you have the floor.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks everyone for showing up. One really quick point before I get into the marketing on the listing side. That's actually one of the segments that Storm Partners advises on, T1 and T2 listings. And to be honest, it's something that we don't enjoy doing, because it really is not as straightforward as it seems. I mean, timelines get skewed, agreements get amended, things don't go how you think they're going to go. And they look at a range of factors when they're trying to get you approved. They even look at everything into your community, your socials, your overall brand presence, your past and current state. So it's actually something that we kind of stopped doing. And keep in mind, we have deep connections with those exchanges. So it's just kind of to emphasize that yeah, it's a quite complex process. So just to share some understanding on any difficulties you might face. So yeah, take that for what it's worth.
Thank you for sharing those thoughts.
Cool. Okay, so I mean, of course, what we're here for and super excited about is getting started on the growth and marketing side. I think everyone saw in the presentation that I presented, it wasn't a traditional presentation where you get into who we are, showing all the fancy logos, trying to teach you about marketing. Literally, the first block on the page was next steps, and some of those next steps already have a green check mark by them. We spoke a bit about our AI model that's kind of already learning about the project. The growth and marketing team is very much activated. The strategy and research team has already kind of started laying some foundations. Our design team has started on the brand evolution. We shared a few ideas there. But of course, it's important to know that this is a collaborative effort between the entire council, the community, and Storm Partners, which is now essentially Telcoin's team. But what we have as very actionable next steps is, within 2 days, we want to do Storm Partners and Telcoin team intros, which meaning that we get on the call and everybody gets to see who is behind Storm, who's actually going to be executing on the work. And there's going to be about 8 to 10 of us on the call. That's not the full team, but it's just to get you to understand that within each segment of growth and marketing, we have some experts that are super excited to get started. As an additional next step, we have within 3 days, we have a thought leadership workshop. This is really where we start defining messaging. And on our side, we want to have that messaging finalized within 5 days. So this includes passing over our findings from the growth and marketing side to the strategy and research team. And what they're doing is really ensuring that this message is aligning with all of the North Star goals from some token appreciation and all of the elements that are required to build that up. And on my side, where I really place priority is really an audience segmentation, like region-specific audience segmentation. So this is every single cohort, no matter where they are, just feels like Telcoin was really built for them, right? From the primary and secondary to the tertiary audiences that are identified. And again, these workshops are really a collaborative play between us to show us, okay, yeah, this is the direction we want to go in, or relying on you to bring insights into steering us in a different direction if our assumptions are not validated. And what that leads to is literally within 10 days, we want to start really activating these campaign engines. And by campaign engines, I mean a library of content, this incredible media that we rely also on the external Telcoin community to support and distribution. What I would like to see is an open database where people can just come in. They have X posts, LinkedIn posts, whatever forum or groups that you're a part of, formatted to that particular platform. Really copy paste ready content that's designed to create some eye-catching posts. And along with that content library, of course, we're going to have our graphics, our one-pagers, Telcoin explainers, both from the retail side to the developer side in terms of highlighting the builders on Telcoin, explainers. And then we really want to dive into the thought leadership angle. That's one of the marketing motions that I particularly enjoy, also ultimately because it works. So really highlighting kind of, the Paul's currently been on a tour of interviews and they're great. But yeah, this kind of like one-hit wonders. They're hit and they never really get reshared. They never really get repurposed and distributed efficiently. So that's something that we will do along with creating new content. And then developer leadership as well, highlighting some of the builders on Telcoin and bringing their input into our developer engagement strategy. Yeah, all of that ties into community, penetrating every possible community where there's any relevant tie-ins to Telcoin. And again, feedback from, really the global Telcoin community that knows where these conversations are being had. I mean, it's much more than Crypto X and LinkedIn or wherever it may be. There's all kinds of groups that we may identify, but there may be some that we may not be aware of. And essentially what we're working towards is to create a benchmark of one, what type of traction we're getting, identify which of those campaigns are getting the most traction. And this is when we start considering deploying some budget behind those to just expand their reach. And you may have noticed in the budgeting sheet, I added an extra kind of spreadsheet that shows an option that I'm just calling a global takeover. And by global, I mean really impossible to ignore Telcoin across Web3 and Web2, a complete takeover really on all angles of growth and marketing with strategy and research behind it. So as I mentioned in the first intro, the team is very much excited, very much ready. And yeah, we're just waiting for the green light. That's really where we are. So open to answering any questions. We also have Julio on the call. He's like our multimedia content and community specialist. And I think everybody has seen our proposal. We were super appreciative of the voting turnout. We really appreciated that. And one thing I do want to say that it's not taken lightly. The trust is not taken lightly. The responsibility is a great one. And just going into the history of your Discord, going into the history of X, I see how much work has went into building where you have gotten so far. I see the time lapses that lead to frustration, and it's very much understood. And that sits on our shoulders now, right? It's on us to make it happen, and I know that we can handle it. So now it's just about showing and proving. So yeah, that's really why I showed up today. And once again, thank you for your time. And yeah.
Well, on behalf of the councils and the community at large, like we're thrilled to be working with you. And, I think everything you spoke to is exactly why we chose to work with Storm. So really, really happy that you guys made it today. And we're looking forward to really getting things kicked off when the vote formally ends here very soon. So thank you all.
Yeah, I know there was one that ended on Monday, and then I think there's one that ends tomorrow. But
Yeah.
I mean, just to be straight up with you, like we can have the intro team kick off tomorrow. Like that's where I am with it. So
Awesome. Great.
just let us know, and yeah.
All right. Well, I will circle back. I will be following up with you for sure, certainly to kind of iron out those details, because I think we were ready to get started as soon as possible. So that is fantastic.
Please do appreciate that, Grant.
Are there any questions for Storm partners while we're here from the councils or community? I think I've only seen positive things in the chat. No real questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Andrew
from
should-
that may come up now. Like keep in mind, like we really are always here, right? You have access to my Discord. You can have access to my Telegram. This is a continuous work in progress, a collaborative one. So, not like this is the only question and answer for. I'm on X. Not hard to find.
Awesome. Well, I think that is just Again, I'm thrilled to have you guys here and to be a part of this. I think we're going to do some excellent work together. So thank you for your time.
For sure. Thank you all. Let's stay in touch. We're on standby and ready to roll.
Excellent. I think this tomorrow we'll get some things organized tomorrow, and then I think we'll be ready to meet as early as next week. So we'll figure that out after this call.
Cool. So Q3 is going to be a good one.
It's going to be great. I'm
Yeah.
really excited.
Oh, thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Great updates from Armias and Julio. We're going to move forward now on our last topic on the agenda for today. I think we have a new tel IP, and this is in relation to one of the TIPs for moving off of Discord. Again, this is our last Discord meeting. We'll be calling from Zoom, and there's just some funding considerations for expanding council meeting coverage, written by BZ. Derek, he's streaming. I'm not sure if he's available to hop on the stage, but I'm prepared to kind of give a quick overview for the councils. Here he is. Great. All right.
Hey everybody, can you hear me?
Sure can. You got the floor.
Awesome. So really what I tried to do here was just right now with everything that's been built off of the streaming, what I've been trying to accomplish over the last month. By the way, I'm extremely giddy today. I don't care. You guys can talk about tier ones all you want. I'm just happy that we're finally streaming on the official Twitter account, which is great. We've got close to 1,500 viewers, which is a huge reach. And this is the first time, so it's only going to continue to grow once we can get everything live on YouTube and a few other things. So it's going to have some great reach, and I think it will compound. And I said this months ago when I first brought this up that we have an opportunity here, and I'm excited to help continue that. So really what I did is I put together a model here. Admittedly, this has started taking more time than I had originally anticipated. Everything from essentially monitoring the streams to then, posting the videos and making sure that everything's timestamped so people can go back and easily search through the videos, trying to provide clips or feedback of important topics, so that's done, and then helping with any meeting minutes or notes needed as well. So what I tried to do is go and provide some context behind what typical services in this space look like for this type of stuff, and then also recognizing that I want this to not be a for-profit type of thing, and I want to really just try to cover my costs and my time, and I'm happy to negotiate that or discuss it or whatever we want to do, and I'm certainly willing to be flexible because I believe in the project, and I certainly don't want anyone to feel that this is not valuable. But that's kind of the purpose. As we've seen today, one of the major things that'll start occurring is we're going to have a lot of people on chats. We're going to have a lot of people writing messages, talking back and forth, and for the council that's speaking to track those things and be able to, correlate them into, okay, what's the questions I need to answer, will become harder and harder to do when we have, thousands of people watching these streams. So part of the purpose of a moderator is to, search through those things, put them all together, and make sure that they are given to the council to answer in a clear and concise manner. So that's the other big piece of this as well. I'm committed to essentially continuing this process, and I'm, if anybody has thoughts on the proposal or feel that it's the pricing structure that I built out is needs to be negotiated, I'm happy to do that. I'm also happy to relinquish this if people want to go a different direction. So it's a lot of personal time, and I've enjoyed doing it. And that's really the gist of the Tel IP. It's just really to help fund and continue to grow the streaming platform.
Great overview. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense, and you've done a great job so far with all the streaming and getting that set up on the official Tau Twitter. So thank you for all your work on that. And yeah, I think that this proposal is very reasonable, and yeah, it makes sense to me. So are there any questions in regards to the Tel IP? I know I was trying to find it here to share in the chat. Here we go.
I think BZ is the global leader for most proposals passed and authored.
Do I get a participation trophy? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, an ongoing stream of Tel, and payment for your efforts on this sounds pretty reasonable to me.
Maybe even an official Telcoin pen.
Oh, we got a lot of those. I got you. They're the best pens.
Cool. Well, yeah, great work. Definitely, yeah, we'll definitely move this. I think we'll move this to the councils for further review, but I think we can put this to snapshot relatively soon and just get that going. Again, we're trying to move to Zoom and everything for the next meetings, so that includes the local councils as well. So we'll definitely try to do that. But that being said, there is some additional funding that is needed. Parker had mentioned this earlier in the call, and that is with the year 2 issuance and the marketing partnership with Storm. So there are more security audits for Telcoin network that are needed, and as well as Telex, as the councils for the Telex council continue to advance our decentralized finance layer. So I think something to be aware of, platform Treasury Council members, is that just we will need to consider additional funding for this year. Yeah, and that's something that we can definitely continue to discuss. But that's something that's in a draft stage, and we'll get that posted soon, I believe, next week.
Yeah, let's just make sure we have that before the next meeting, and that we really get pretty granular with it, Grant.
Yeah. So
Leo started it. So.
Okay. Good. Yeah, we've got those numbers. Yeah, so very good. I think at this time we can go ahead and move on to the last step, the open question and answer section for today's meeting. I will like to start with the council members if there's anything that you care to say, or if there's any questions that you want to ask before we open it up to the general public. Okay, great. Then let's go ahead and jump into the chats. If there's any things. Let's see. As far as like Telcoin merch for sale anywhere, I think there's I don't think there's like an official merch store, but I believe that maybe Liberty Lab could help you with that, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. So are we still on track for MNO testing in July 1st? Also, a couple of meetings ago, I think you said that we'll start hearing which MNOs sooner rather than later. Any update on that? So yes, that is ultimately up to the MNOs to announce like their participation. We are still on track for July. Starting that, I think maybe even sooner, just getting some deployments up and just starting that whole process. As we continue to work through the security audits, it's going to be, some of that code will change, and we'll be continuing to upgrade the testnet in combination with the findings in the security audits. So that testnet it will be private to begin with, as the MNOs work through the live network conditions. It's really exciting because right now we have a DevNet. It was a testnet. Now it's downgraded to DevNet. The naming is all, it's semantics. But the idea is that there is a public version of Telcoin network running right now. So if any developers are out there, or anyone needs to test on the future Telcoin network, there is a public accessible version, and that is, you can find it under the chainlist.org. Its chain ID is 2017. If you need any help, please post in the Telcoin network channel, and be happy to help you get set up and find the RPCs that are available. But those nodes are only geographically distributed across the United States. And so what we're really hoping to get with this testnet is a global outreach. And so that's going to be really, really exciting. And I'm sure that there'll be some quirky asynchronous network conditions that we'll get to work through as well. But yeah, that's going to be a big step before mainnet. So it's looking great. All right. Any pants for sale? Okay, still on the merch. So will we be moved over from Polygon onto Telcoin network by beta mainnet? So I guess a couple of thoughts, and I'm not quite sure who we would refer to. The Tel token is going to exist, continue to exist on Ethereum and Polygon and Telcoin network, and ultimately on all the networks that Axelar bridging supports. We're going to be doing that Well, we don't need to get too much into the technical weeds, but yes. So governance right now, a lot of the governance safes and everything live on Polygon, and that will also be moved over to Telcoin Network before Beta Mainnet. That'll be actually in Alpha Mainnet. As far as the application goes, and the bank and everything else too, I know there's there's tons of support there too, and they'll get to Telcoin Network as well. Yes, Chainlist 2017. There we go. So the next meeting, July 10th. Can we have an update between July 1st and 10th? Perhaps a brief status on Tancall. So, yep, I think that is something that we get a lot of feedback from and continue to get feedback on. So, Boo Classic, we will definitely continue to improve or do our best to improve on that communication front. So, I think as far as we've got it's going to be kicking off things with Storm Partners. So hopefully that kind of is another big step in the right direction for increased communication and visibility. All right. Specifically, will the MNOs staking and people using the stables, for example, from Bank Launch, be used on only Telcoin Network? I don't think so. So the global outreach for stable tokens has got a lot of application on all networks, really. So I don't think that would be exclusive to Telcoin Network, and that'd be a good thing in terms of just accessibility and for the end user being able to use reliable, stable tokens that are regulated and secure. Right. I had another screenshot, I think, of some other questions. Let's see if we get those up. So will the gas used on Polygon network not use gas? So Polygon's network, right? Polygon, like the proof of stake network, and that will use the pull token on Polygon. Telcoin network will use Tel as its native token, the gas token.
Yeah, and then also just to jump in, so basically let's separate the two things. So Telcoin network, blockchain network standard for telecoms, GSMA MNOs have exclusive validator rights. And Tel is the native token for this system, and any other GSMA aligned consortium chain in the future. But Telcoin network is the network for Tel. And then Telcoin Digital Asset Bank and Telcoin Holdings global subsidiaries focused on the variety of stablecoins directly connected to bank accounts. This is separate from the association, right? And that's that business model's, of course, designed to work with Telcoin network, but also to bank the disconnected crypto economy. And it's really good to have a network with with all of these stablecoins and all their users of mobile network operators, mobile financial services connected to that, and then also to have it be fluid with all the other networks and have a ton of liquidity across the whole universe of crypto. If there's a ton of global stablecoins around the world that are all connected to Telcoin network, from other networks, that's really good, right? That means that more money can come into Telcoin network. And we think that the model for the property rights system, the governance system is ultimately will drive everyone to Telcoin network, because the whole value chain has ownership, and it just has this distribution system through telecoms that's global in a way that just hasn't ever been done, because you really have to just do telecom consortium to do that. I mean, they're just the only industry that really can do that. So anyways, yeah, I'm rambling, so hopefully that was colorful.
Yeah, it was good addition. That was great. Thank you. Some additional questions here. We have any potential update or on the potential for AgLayer connection. Certainly, it's still an interesting opportunity, but launching, I think we're just trying to keep things as focused as possible. So initially, we're only concerned about the Axelar bridge, but connectivity is critical. So I think the more interconnectivity that we can have, that's certainly a long-term goal for Telcoin network. And then, are there plans to support third-party stables like USDC on Telcoin network? Yes. absolutely. We welcome any and all digital assets on Telcoin Network. It's going to be faster and cheaper and secure, and just it's going to be a great EVM network to work on. So everybody's invited to whatever your token is, and Tel will be the native token for gas. So that'll be a win-win. All right. Well, I think we've made it through our questions here. We're kind of running long on time, so I think yeah, we've got a few more last second questions here, and then we're gonna wrap up our meeting. This one is a quick one for Parker. Are the telecoms incentivized to market and promote the Telcoin network platform themselves, or will they just be behind the scenes partner?
Yeah, so great question. So basically, we've designed the set of rules across the association for 4 different types of miners, as you all know. And the key ones that require that you're a GSMA member or a GSMA mobile network operator using an MNO technology in the case of validators are the positions of application developer and validator. And so first and foremost, these mobile network operators have a stake in the actual usage of the network. And so they're naturally, because they earn the gas fees, right? They have that exclusive right. And so they have a natural built-in incentive as a validator to deploy in the network. But in addition to that, the application developer position is designed so that people who build and pay gas fees and use the exchange network of Telex and have users developing payment networks in the case of stakers, that position of application developer is for GSMA members, the entire consortium of which effectively constitutes the entire supply chain or value chain for the entire telecommunications industry, which is global and basically involves everyone. And so yeah, basically that is they have a once, so right now with TAN and the application layer issuance, we're at this outset phase, and also sort of have a situation where the network is going live, and so deploying these applications on Telcoin network is the natural next step, instead of doing it in the way that Telcoin Holdings has done it, in which Telcoin Holdings hasn't earned any application developer issuance. The only issuance for application developers right now is to finance GSMA costs for their sign up, or at least 1 year of basic GSMA membership, so that we can have this sort of reciprocity situation with the GSMA where people developing on Telcoin network who are a part of the consortium are actually becoming GSMA members. So we want to have that happen. But the reverse is obviously the whole thing, right? That reciprocity is a huge opportunity. It means that anybody who becomes a member of this consortium that we're the standard of, gets to participate, harvest the native token, vote as an application developer, and they once we have a quorum of application developers of 3+, the plan is to make sure that we have application developer issuance in which the basis for how much they earn is based both on their stake weight in the same way of stakers, at the maximum levels, but then also instead of based on their fees and their referral fees, it's actually based on the referral fees paid to stakers, because what that does, it naturally ensures that application developers are incentivized to empower stakers with ownership for doing what is so critical, which is to create a payment network. You basically go to the XYZ payment providers of the world that you and your friends use in whatever jurisdiction you're in, and you might get a one-time thing, but you don't get to own the future of this for the work that you've done, and that's what the staker position gets. But so with the application developer, it's based off of their users' referral fees. So we're not saying we're basically using the rules to ensure that the rights and opportunities for stakers are intact for each of these applications that develop. And then it's also based on exchange fees paid on Telex by the application itself, by its users, and the gas fees that are paid on Telcoin network. And so that is their pro rata share versus all the other application developers. And so it's designed to ensure that these applications are leveraging the underlying systems that we call the Telcoin platform, and to connect them to each other. And it's something that I've thought about for a very long time. and I'm very excited about it. And it's like I mean, that's application layer issuance. Like when we get this network live, is just I think people really have discounted how big that is relative to every other network in existence. And that is my time. Thank you.
So yeah, so just to clarify, highly incentivized to market themselves.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That is correct. And I love the enthusiasm, Parker. I know you spent a lot of time thinking through this and designing this, and yeah, I just thanks for all your hard work on it. I think it's great, and I'm excited to be at the point where we can actually launch the network and have this vision come to life. So, fantastic job, everybody. Thank you for your time, community. We love you all. Thank you for showing up and making your voices heard. Congrats to Storm Partners. Great to see you guys. Looking forward to getting things kicked off next week. We'll be following up soon. For anybody else with questions, follow up in our Discord. This will be the last time we make a call here. Next time we'll be on Zoom, but we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you.